What's up, everybody? It's Mason Indigo and welcome back to Planet Indigo. We got another video for you today. We're going to do a lovely reaction to Dragonballogy episode 2 centered around fusion. This is going to be thanks to Zachary, who dropped in my comment section and was nice enough to give us a suggestion. So now we're going to go ahead and we're going to do the video. If anybody else has a suggestion, doesn't have to necessarily be Swag Kage, just anything that you think that would be cool me reacting to, please let me know. But without further ado, we're going to go ahead and get right into it.
Hello, fellow Dragon Ball fans. How are all of you doing today?
How are you doing today, Swag Kage?
Welcome to another episode of Dragonballogy. Today on Dragonballogy, I'll be tackling the topic most requested in the comments of the last video, fusion.
I think this is interesting because I didn't know Swag Kage did these.
The Dragon Ball universe, almost playing as big a role as Super Saiyan, as it is a major plot element from the Frieza saga forward.
Yep.
Before getting into the thick of things, though, we need to define what fusion is. Fusion is, well, just that, when two or more characters fuse to become one.
Self-explanatory.
It's incredibly simple, but despite that, it's actually one of Dragon Ball's most complex elements. As with Super Saiyan, there are a bunch of different variations of fusion, although the different types of fusion are much more varied than those of Super Saiyan. So, that said,
Piccolo fused with Nails so long ago. I swear to God, you almost forget that it happened.
Universe, and what are they? Well, there are 6. Namekian fusion, the fusion dance, Katara fusion, absorption, merging, and possession.
Interesting.
I'll jump right in and tackle all of these.
And this is why I love his videos.
Because it was first to be shown and is one of the more popular forms of fusion, they'll start with the Namekian variant. Namekian fusion, originally titled Assimilation in Japan, made its debut in Dragon Ball Chapter 295, appropriately
move this out of the way.
Assimilation. It is first spoken of by Nail in a conversation between he and Piccolo before having its effects shown in the soon-to-follow battle between the newly fused Piccolo and second form Frieza. The procedure for Namekian fusion is pretty straightforward. The first step is selecting a host, and after that, the host places their hand on the chest of the person they want to fuse with, and once that's done,
or with the arm, I guess.
The effects of Namekian fusion differ quite a bit from most forms of fusion in the Dragon Ball universe. Its Japanese name, Assimilation, is much more fitting than the English title of Namekian fusion, since the technique is much more of an assimilation or absorption than...
I think it would have been cooler if Piccolo was a little bit stronger when he fused with Nail. He did kind of give Frieza the business, but it wasn't really until he went to his third form. And with that, yeah, that would count as his third form. That's when he really turned the tide, but I would have liked to see Piccolo be stronger.
Their personality remains the more dominant out of the two fusees. This is why Piccolo remained relatively unchanged after both of the assimilations he took part in, but nonetheless received a few notable character changes, such as increased intelligence and a more calm nature. These changes are even sometimes stated flat out, like when Piccolo gave credit to Kami for the idea of playing possum in order to extract information from Cell.
Smart.
In addition to gaining all the knowledge and wisdom of those they assimilate, the host of Namekian fusion experiences an enormous boost in power. The power boost isn't necessarily linear either, and by that I mean the power of a fused Namekian is not equal to the sum of its parts. When Piccolo fused with Nail before fighting Frieza, both of them were close to the strength level of Raccoon, Jason, Burger. But after the fusion, Piccolo had grown even more powerful than second form Frieza. A similar
I guess that does make sense when you put it that way.
Before the assimilation, Piccolo was defeated by a single punch from Android 17, but afterwards he had shown that he was not only capable of fighting evenly with the same android, but additionally was capable of overpowering him. In the Game Boy Advance game Dragon Ball Z Supersonic Warriors, Piccolo...
I just want to see somebody other than Goku just get something, man. They deserve something today.
This is arguably one of the most enormous power boosts any character has seen in all of Dragon Ball, as before the fusion, Piccolo's strength was around that of a Cell Jr. Aside from what-if instances, though, Namekian fusion is only used 2 times in both the manga and anime, and Piccolo takes the role of the host in both cases. The small number of uses isn't really a surprise, given that only one participant loses their entire identity in the assimilation process, not to mention that there is no way of reversing the fusion. However, in outside media...
That does not sound like a good idea.
Namekian fusion has been given a decent amount of attention, and is even a key component in the Dragon Ball trading card game. The role of the Namekian assimilation technique is nowhere near the size of that of the Metamarin's fusion dance, though. The fusion dance...
That's probably the most popular, or at least the most liked.
Aspects of the Dragon Ball universe, and is usually what first comes to mind when fusion is the topic.
Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta is the best fusion ever. I will not accept any rebuttals.
Shown in this chapter, or in the corresponding episode of the anime, though, instead, Goku explained to Piccolo that he had learned the technique in Otherworld and how it was different from the fusion technique. The first successful use of the technique did not appear until Chapter 480, an entire 11 chapters after Goku first spoke of it, where Goten and Trunks finally successfully fused to form Gotenks.
That was bomb as hell too when that first happened.
Well, honestly, Goku does a great job.
Buu Saga was freaking amazing.
Cite a summary from the manga. You can only do it with someone around the same size and power, but when they do it, they become way stronger than the sum of their parts. It's awesome. Every one of them was a wimp by himself, but once
If you hear random noises, I apologize. I'm pretty sure that's something going on in my apartment.
In anime, anyways, can only be done between two people of similar size and
Well, more like upstairs.
Originally, these restrictions existed alongside others like the fusees must be the same race and the sort, but Akira Toriyama recently said in an interview that it is possible.
Jeez, yeah, I'm not imagining that.
I'm not sure whether to take this with a grain of salt given how much Toriyama tends to forget about the series, so I'll just do my best not to mention the technique's restrictions from here on out.
I think it would have been awesome if we saw fusion a lot more. I feel like I should make like a fusion wish list.
For the fusion to be successful. If just one motion of the dance is performed incorrectly, the fusion will fail per se and create a deformed version of the would-be fusion that is actually weaker than both of the parts. I won't go explaining each step of the dance as that feels a bit unnecessary, so I'll just let you watch it for yourself.
And there goes those ads again. If anybody sees this that knows how to get those to go away, you're going to have to let me know. We'll leave it right there for right now. Well, no, we're not going to leave it there. It's probably going to keep popping up, though.
Goten and Trunks were both by themselves, only around Frieza's level of power as Super Saiyans, but Gotenks' Super Saiyan form was on par with Super Saiyan 3 Goku. Fusions created by this technique also have completely distinct personalities and thought patterns, although their personality traits are determined mostly by who the fusees are. A fusion's personality is sort of a mesh between the personalities of its two parts, with a bit of traits unseen in either fusee sprinkled throughout. Fused characters also tend to be sporting the clothing of the Metamorans who created the technique when they enter the battlefield, which seems to have a sort of one-size-fits-all trait as the costume size.
God, I hope we get Gogeta back, man. I'll take him over Vegito any day. Maybe in the Broly movie, who knows?
Increase the energy consumed by Super Saiyan forms, but this has never been outright stated, so I can't confirm it. Regardless, the fusion dance is still ludicrously powerful. Considering the fact that most fights in the series take around 10 minutes in real time anyway, there's barely any risk of the fusion ending too quickly. Despite how
I did not know that.
Only one character exists as a result of the technique in the manga, and that is Gotenks. Goku and Vegeta also fused to form Gogeta in Fusion Reborn and Dragon Ball GT, but aside from that, no one else makes use of the technique in either the manga or the anime.
Yeah, they're not canon, unfortunately, which is stupid.
And Krillin, the fusion of Krillin and Piccolo, exist within the Dragon Ball Expanded Universe, which can be seen as a testament to the technique's popularity.
Why? Just why? Why would you want to fuse Yamcha and Tien? Why?
An ultimate attack and only lasts for a certain period of time, and if its button prompts are not entered correctly, the fusion will fail and the player will be put in control of either Veku or Fat Gotenks. In the Budokai Tenkaichi games, fusion is just a relatively straightforward maneuver that combines the remaining health of the people on the team who perform it, and is not timed like it is in the Budokai games. In the Raging Blast games, it's a bit useless though, since it has the same effect as a transformation but costs one of the user's teammates to use. Another method of fusion that exists in the Dragon Ball universe is Potara fusion, which debuted just a little bit after the fusion technique in Chapter 501 of the Dragon Ball manga. It's quite a bit more complicated than the fusion dance, but is nonetheless a bit similar to it.
I wonder what made them go the Potara route, as opposed to allowing Gogeta to be the main fusion that they use.
So let's start with the differences. What sets Potara fusion apart from the fusion dance? Well, for starters, Potara fusion is done through the use of the earrings worn by the Kais, also known as Potara earrings.
Right. We got that.
Put on one of the two earrings in the pair on opposite ears, and once that is done, they will merge together, no questions asked. The second difference is that the fusion is permanent, and almost nothing can be done to separate the fusion.
I think it was Buu that dissolved that, right?
The earrings are broken. The only exception seen was when Vegeta, the union between Goku and Vegeta, was absorbed by Super Buu, which caused him to defuse back into each of his parts.
Right. Right, he dissolved the fusion. Okay, alright. I knew I wasn't tripping.
Vegito and Kibito Kai, they cannot use Potara fusion to fuse into a Super Potara fusion. However, it is unknown if Potara fusions can use the fusion dance to fuse into an even more powerful fusion.
That would be scary as hell.
If the fusion is performed while both participants are in a state like Kaioken or Super Saiyan, they will remain in that state permanently and it will drastically shorten their lifespan, so it is recommended that the fusion be done in base form and that the fusion transforms afterwards. Another major difference is that the resulting fusion will not be wearing a Metamorese jacket or anything of the sort, but instead a combination of the clothing worn by the fusees. In Vegito's case, he wore Vegeta's training gi over top of Goku's Kamehameha gi with Vegeta's gloves and boots. The style was one that was similar to both Goku and Vegeta's respective clothes without leaning too much towards one in particular.
Very
in
true.
addition to the clothes, the Potara fusion combines the names of both users, and the fusion dance does this as well. Vegeta was formed by taking Vegeta and combining it with Goku's Japanese Saiyan name, Kakaroto, but because Goku's English Saiyan name was Kakarot, this has caused a bit of confusion in the Dragon Ball community over here in the States.
I'm finding out so much stuff that I did not know, man.
Vegerot in the English version, but I don't really like the sound of Vegerot, and I think
Vegerot?
is way cooler. The Potara fusion also
That's
has a bit of a
terrible.
weird aspect that deals with the willpower of the fusees that is never outright explained in the show. Now, the Potara fusion is much more powerful than its Metamare's counterpart, as stated by Old Kai, but the exact power
that's
varies
unfortunate.
greatly depending on the willpower of the individual.
All the cooler stuff just seems to get thrown out in the trash with these guys. I don't understand it.
By the fusion can be increased even further if the two fusees have equally dominant personalities, as is the case with the rivals Goku and Vegeta. Additionally, if both fusees possess equal willpower, both personalities will be equally present and both voices will be audible when the fusion speaks, as is the case with Vegito. In this case of Potara fusion, it is very similar to the fusion dance. However, in another case of the Potara fusion, it is almost completely different from the fusion dance. If the fusees do not possess equal willpower, the person with more willpower will remain in control of the body. Additionally, the more dominant personality's voice will be the only one audible in the fusion's voice, as is the case with Kabito Kai and even Old Kai, where the Eastern Supreme Kai and Old Kai were in control of the fused body, respectively. The concept might sound a bit complicated, and that's because it is, especially considering the fact that this was never outright explained in the show, and it was only shown with the different cases between Kabito Kai, Old Kai, and Vegito. The last difference between Potara fusion and the fusion dance is that the fusees are not required to be of similar height, race, or power. Again, whether or not that's the
That one
case,
seems more
it's
convenient
a
then.
bit unclear given what Toriyama said about it, but in the manga, this was mentioned to be one of the differences between the two, so I do.
That kind of makes sense now.
The fact that
You got a lot more
fusion
flexibility
anyone
with the
at all
Potara
was a few
than you do with the
complicated
regular fusion
hypothetical
dance.
reasons when Goku was running out of options to beat Boo,
Yeah.
being a fusion between Goku and Dende, and a fusion between Goku and Mr. Satan.
That would have been
The
awful.
latter actually ended up becoming a playable character in Dragon Ball Z Budokai 2 under the name Gokul, wielding a massive peak spirit bomb known as the
Gokul.
Ultra Spirit Bomb. Now, I was going to put Absorption on here and talk about all of its different forms too, but before too long, I realized that Absorption has enough content to talk about that it could probably be its own video. So
Yeah,
I'll save
most
that for
likely.
another day. I don't want to end up just glossing over it in an effort
Boo's
to
absorption definitely outclasses Cell's by a mile.
Anyways, up next we have Possession, and in particular the possession that Baby uses on various people in the Baby saga of Dragon Ball GT. I do want to make it clear that there are other forms of possession that exist in the Dragon Ball universe, like Babidi's mind control, the time Kami controlled a random guy off the street and entered the Tenkaichi Budokai, and so on. But those aren't really as much a form of fusion as Baby's possession is.
That's like mind control or something like that.
When Baby possessed someone, he was actually merging his own body with theirs and making a noticeable difference in both of the bodies while doing so. In the cases of characters like Baby Goten and Baby Bulma, these changes were all to the personality of the target and were barely cosmetic at all, with the only physical change being the way their eyes are drawn. However, it is very clear that Baby has the ability to completely change the appearance of a particular person under certain
Baby Vegeta.
And based on what was shown in the series, it seems like he is capable of doing this to whatever body he decides he wants as his main body. The effects may differ depending on the body Baby chooses to possess, but when possessing Vegeta, the changes Baby brought about were pretty radical. Now, I could verbally list all the differences in appearance, but because there's not really any point, I'll just let you look at the differences between Baby Vegeta and Baby Vegeta. Another interesting ability he seems to have when in possession of his main body is the ability to transform, and while I don't know if this transformation is related to Super Saiyan in any way, I can say that the changes present in each transformation are very real, very radical, and increase power a lot. I'm not really sure how much more powerful Super Baby 1 and 2 are than regular Baby Vegeta, since he kind of thrashed a GT Goku in all three forms, but I
Sure
can
did.
say that the form of possession is crazy powerful.
Beat that
and how much
ass.
stronger it made both Baby and Vegeta. Neither of them were anywhere close to Goku's level of strength on their own, but after the possession, Baby Vegeta was on an entirely different plane of power than Goku was. The final method of fusion in the Dragon Ball universe is merging, and to briefly summarize it, it's, well, the most basic kind of fusion.
Have they done that more than once?
Merging is where two characters just kind of become one without doing any sort of crazy convoluted dance or whatever. While this type of fusion never made its way into any of the manga, it did see 3 appearances throughout the series.
I've only seen one.
Might, once in Son Goku and his friends return.
Wow, you know what I just thought about? I've never seen the freaking Turles movie. What is wrong with me?
Honestly, Akka is pretty unremarkable, and the same is also true with the fusion done in the Tree of Might.
Man, I'm gonna have to go watch that after this.
Raisin and Lacase's fusion doesn't even have a name, though, making it even more unremarkable than Akka. All I can say about the forms of merging that were used in these 2 movies is that it made the 2 characters more powerful. I don't know how much more powerful, but more powerful. Now, there is one best use of merging that I'd like to talk about, and this one in particular is actually really cool, unlike the previous 2. This one is seen in Dragon Ball GT, where Android 17 and Hellfighter 17 fused to form Super Android.
Yeah, that's the only one that I've seen. I definitely have not seen the other one.
Super 17 saga or his fight with Goku, I can certainly say that Super 17 himself is absolutely awesome. In the Dragon Ball video games, he's easily one of my favorite characters to play as, and from a design perspective, I'd say Super 17 is also pretty awesome. Before I get too deep into talking about why Super 17 is so great, though, I need to explain how this particular instance...
It would have been cool if they brought Super 17 back for the Tournament of Power. But, of course, you know, GT.
I'm pretty sure I know what the effects of the fusion that made Super 17 were, because this one is actually explained. So, initially, Super 17 is supposedly twice as strong as regular Android 17, according to both Dr. Mew and Super 17 himself. But I honestly don't know if I believe that, considering how he completely thrashed the Z fighters. In any case, when fused, Super 17 gained the ability to...
Super 17 was that dude, man.
His hit with make him much more powerful. This is why he was able to nearly demolish Goku after absorbing his 10 times Kamehameha, and it might also explain why he was able to completely destroy the Z fighters if he really was only twice as strong as regular Android 17 to begin with. The ability to absorb ki isn't the only ability Super 17 gained after fusing, though. He has a really long list of crazy skills, but the 2 coolest abilities he got were telekinesis, which you can see him use on the forest when he fights Goku, and the ability to pinpoint anything located in the planet's atmosphere.
I'm gonna go back and watch GT, man. Definitely miss all that.
Any other character in all of Dragon Ball has had an ability like it, and it makes Super 17 stand out quite a bit.
We're gonna get a new chair too. That's gonna definitely be on the list of things for the apartment. Because this chair is like miniature sized and it's the worst.
But anyways, that's all for today's video. So if you enjoyed it, consider leaving a like rating and subscribing to see when I release new content. If there's any aspect of the Dragon Ball universe you'd like me to talk about, leave a comment below and I'll add it to my ever-growing list of Dragonballogy topics. With that said,
I wonder what made him switch to Naruto. Or I mean, was he doing Naruto from the beginning? Now I'm interested because now I want to go like all the way back to the end. Well, not end, beginning, and see. Was he like doing Dragon Ball Z from Jump and something made him switch to Naruto? I don't know. But either way, I did enjoy Dragonballogy, not gonna lie. I definitely like his Naruto videos better than I like the Dragon Ball Z, but this was 3 years ago, so I can't really compare the 2. I assume this was a little bit less polished since he had more time to grow and perfect his craft, so to speak. But like I said, what I said in the last video about Swag Kage, his video, as far as like the evidence he presents, it's so freaking informative, man. Like, you'll watch his videos and you'll find out stuff that you had no idea was even in the show, where I just found out information about fusion that I never knew, and I've been watching Dragon Ball since I was a kid. So, but anyways, Zachary, man, we got your video up. Anybody else that wants a suggestion, or you got a video that you want me to react to, by all means, drop it in the comment section. I got you. I may not be able to do it like literally right when you post it, but as you can see, definitely gonna get to you. So my next reaction video that's gonna be up, Team 4 Star has finally dropped the episode 60 for Dragon Ball Z Abridged. Gonna wait until part 2 comes out before I do the reaction, because I want to be able to do them both together as opposed to doing one and one. So I'd say this weekend you can probably look to see for the reaction. There's a chance, slight chance that I may not be able to get it because gotta go to Puerto Rico next week. But other than that, this has been Mason Indigo, Planet Indigo. Thank you very much for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, notification, all that good stuff. Y'all have a good one. We're out.